If that gospel wasn't long enough for you, you can go home and open your own Bible, and there's more there you can read before and after that about Jesus. As we find ourselves a little over halfway through Lent, it's probably a good time to ask ourselves, how is Lent going? I suppose about halfway through anything, there's often the temptation either to give up and think I've done enough for Lent and I'll just coast into Easter, or perhaps some people haven't done anything yet and think, well, it's almost halfway over, so I won't do anything anyway. But there's still plenty of time left in Lent, so you can either double up your efforts, or if you're doing nothing for Lent, again, there's still plenty of days left for Lent to do a little extra praying or a little extra fasting or some almsgiving. So for all of us, as we see that finish line of Easter, let's do our best to hasten our steps towards the great day of Easter, that we may be properly prepared. This gospel reading, of course, this great amazing story of this man born blind who is healed of his blindness, I suppose the spiritual point for all of us, or the reflection or the question put to us, is our spiritual blindness. As the Pharisees and the Jews were able to see physically, but obviously they were blinded, unable to understand who Jesus was, unable to clearly see Jesus and understand him. We can say that sin blinds all of us. Human beings have, of course, that spiritual blindness, and that is due to our sins. And so, of course, this special season of Lent is a time for us to put aside our sins, get rid of them, and so that we can see more clearly Jesus Christ, and see more clearly even the goodness in others, and being able to help others if we can see better. In our efforts to heal our spiritual blindness and to improve our spiritual sight, our prayer life is something we should all be working on, again, especially during this Lenten season. Also, the study of our faith. If we better understand who Jesus is, then we can better see him. Even good, healthy discussions, discussing our questions with others, sharing our thoughts, our feelings in a healthy way with other people, even that can help us get rid of our blindness, or telling people the things we don't quite understand, and maybe they can help us out. And so those good discussions can help us to see more clearly. Also, too, of course, confession is a wonderful sacrament of the Church, a concrete way to tell Jesus our sins, and a concrete way to know that those sins are removed. That's a wonderful way for us to see more clearly Jesus Christ, knowing and believing in his great mercy. A few prayer thoughts for Lent, and I suppose it works year-round, of course, but I'm a big fan of the Rosary, and so perhaps praying the Rosary each day. If that's too much, maybe just praying one Hail Mary a day, and maybe that can build up to a full Rosary one day. But being close to our Blessed Mother and knowing that she will lead us closer to her Son, Jesus. Also, daily Mass. It's, of course, wonderful that you're here this morning for all of us, but even celebrating Mass perhaps one extra time throughout the season of Lent, to come to a weekday Mass or a daily Mass to celebrate and receive the Eucharist. Also, too, we as Catholics have a great tradition of making visits to the Church, making visits to Jesus there present in the Blessed Sacrament in the Tabernacle. It's the tradition here, I believe, even before I came, or as I was told, and I've maintained the tradition of, we keep that door over there unlocked. We usually lock these other doors during the day, but you're all welcome anytime to come stop by and make a visit to Jesus here in the church. Also, too, even, of course, at home, having a little prayer card, or of course, you can have a nice prayer book, but sometimes prayer books for people might be a little intimidating, so if you just have a nice, cute little prayer card, sometimes those are less intimidating, just that one little prayer, and then trying to pray that each day. And of course, we hope that grows into something more, but having those little starts or those little reminders keep us going. So on this Sunday of Lent, we ask the Lord to heal us from our blindness, that we may see him more clearly.